Okay, in my last video, we designed a B character named Brandon, and in this video, we're going to get him set up for a mix between cutout animation and frame-by-frame animation. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, and this is the file I was working with before. And if you'd like to set up your OpenToonz like I have mine, I have a video on creating the rooms and how to set this up. Basically, I have a combo viewer for the main part, and then a dope sheet and studio palette and level palette. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I want to use this drawing right here, but I think I want to design it to the right. So I'm going to flip this reference drawing. So I'm going to go up here to the animate tool and make sure I'm on that column. And we're going to go to scale, and on the H horizontal, let's do -100. And this will flip it. And we can move it if we want. Let's go ahead and move it kind of a little more to the center. And I think I want to scale it up. Yeah, let's just scale him up like this. And we can always scale him down later if we need to. And now let's change the opacity down on this column and lock it. And let's create a new Toonz raster level. You could do a vector level if you want to create all these pieces in vector. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to have the eyes separate, the wings separate, the body, the antennas, the mouth. So we're going to have all these different columns, and we're going to link them so that they follow the body, like the eyes and mouth will follow the body. But then we can animate those individual pieces separately, like frame by frame if we want to. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and just call this body. And this is what we're going to start with. And let's go ahead and set up our brushes. So I think I want to go in here and do this kind of ink brush down here. I do like the pencil, but I think for this animation, I want to do kind of more of a solid line. So I like this one down here, right here. And it looks like a little cat with a fountain pen. I really like that one. So let's use that. I know I want his body yellow, so let's go ahead and create a new color, and we'll call this yellow. And we'll change the color to yellow. Okay, I think that works, so we can change that later. Okay, so let's start. Oh, let's save this palette, okay? So let's click these little dots and drag it up to our project palette folder and drop it. And do you see how it says body? And we're going to reuse this every time we make a new column, okay? Oh, let's add a white. So let's delete that. And let's add a white and just call this ink. Okay, so let's make a color white. And let's go ahead and make a black. Okay, so now let's click the little dots and drag it up to project palette and drop it. And now we see our brushes that we can reuse over and over again, okay? So let's select ink and get our brush, and let's just start drawing, okay? Try to get this body in here. Okay, and I'm just gonna create the stripes on the body. I kind of want to show this volume of the body. And I'm just going to have the head part of the body. Okay, so let's add the little freckles on the cheeks, like that. And let's fill in the stripes. We're going to fill them in black. Let's see, we want mine normal. Okay. There we go. And then let's fill in the rest yellow. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now let's come up here to the animate tool and select center and just get this center right in the middle of the body. And we'll just call this BDY for body. Okay, so now let's create the eyes, the mouth, the antennas, the stinger, arms and legs. Okay, and we're going to create those all in new columns. So let's go to our next column, create a Toonz raster level. We'll call this eyes. And let's name it EYES for eyes. And we're going to drag our body palette down into our level palette right here so we can reuse it. And if we need to change the opacity on the body, we can. Let's go ahead and draw these eyes in here. Oops, I was on the wrong column. Okay, and they don't have to be perfect. He's a wonky little bee, you know. Nobody's perfect. So let's go ahead and fill this in. And I'm just going to go ahead and add his eye, his pupils, okay? Like this. And if we need to move his pupils around, we'll just create more eyes. And, well, let's go ahead and do that now. So let's go ahead and insert a frame. Okay, and if you want to show the body, you could pull this column down like this. We could extend it so we see the body. That might help us a little, but I'm just going to do some eyes like on frame 2. Let's do like these closed eyes, and we can flip back and forth, or we could turn on onion skinning. I'm just going to flip and make the squishy sound for eyes closing. Okay, we're going to color those yellow. Okay, and as you're drawing this stuff, make sure and close off your black lines. That way, when you go to fill it, it doesn't spill out into the rest of the canvas. Okay, so let's insert another frame. And on frame 3, let's try something where the eyes are like really like open. And this will depend on your animation. You know, like I know I want his eyes at some point to be like, oops. And this will depend on your animation. I know that at some point I want his eyes to be really big like this and his pupils to get really big. Let's go ahead and fill this in. And we'll fill this in white. Oops. And let's go ahead and insert another keyframe. So what I'm doing is I'm making eyes that I can reuse over the life of the animation, right? So if I need the eyes at frame number 1, I'll just type in 1, enter, and then 2, enter if I want them closed, and then, okay. So hopefully it'll make sense once we start animating, but I just kind of like to try to get something set up ahead of time. And if we need more eyes later on, we can just add them. It's no big deal. Okay, so don't stress about if you don't have all the right kind of eyes. Like I kind of want to have, if I turn on onion skinning up here, go here, you know, maybe he has like these half closed, like, Squinty eyes. Okay, just kind of peering out like that. Let's fill this in. Fill this in yellow. Okay, let's insert frame, and we'll just create another set of eyes, and maybe this one is, maybe he's looking down like this. Okay, let's fill that in white. I'm just giving myself some different options for eyes. Okay, and let's insert another one, and let's do some eyes that are only looking down this direction. Okay, and we'll fill that in white. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do one more. Let's come in here and go to frame 7 and get another set of eyes in here where he's like kind of looking up like this. Ah. Okay. Color those in. Okay, so now what we can do is we can come in here and delete these frames. Okay. We delete all of them except our first drawing. Okay, and if we come over here to the drawing tab, we can see we still have all of these eyes. Okay, we didn't delete them. They're still here, and they're on what's called a level strip. So if we come over to Tony's room, and we go to Windows, Level Strip, we can see, oops, I accidentally filled in. Okay, there we go. We can actually see the different eyes we drew, okay? And that's what we're going to reference later. Okay, so I'm going to close that and come back to our main canvas, and let's create a new column, and we'll call this mouth. Hit OK, and we're going to call this MTH for mouth. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with the mouth. We're going to create some different mouth shapes. So let's bring our body palette down to here to the mouth column so we can reuse all of this stuff. And we'll have just like a normal mouth, like kind of derpy, and insert frame and go to frame 2. And we can do one that's like, maybe like this. Okay, let's just fill it in black. Okay, so just use your imagination. Let's insert a frame, and let's do one where he's like, maybe he's kind of happy like this. Okay. And we may not use this mouth. So let's insert a keyframe and do one where it's like, ooh, yeah. I'm just going to keep it simple like that. Ooh. 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 Okay, insert frame, do a smile, insert frame. Let's try one where it's like, just kind of crazy. I don't know. Might be funny to have something like this. Like I said, we can create new ones later. We're not, nothing's set in stone right here. Okay, let me adjust the setting, fill depth, and I just want to do area. There we go. Okay. Okay, so again, let's delete all of these frames that we just drew on. And if we come up here, Windows level strip, we can see all of the mouths that we just drew, okay? Okay, so let's go to column 5, and we're going to create antennas. Pretty sure that's how you spell that. I might have to look that up. But we'll just call this A-N-T, antennas. Drag our palette down. Okay, let's put the center of the antennas right at the base right here. And let's get the mouth somewhere in the middle. And let's get the eyes center over here. Okay. That should work. And so now let's do, I have a special case. So the wings, what I'm going to do is create just a couple of drawings. So let's bring the body down. Okay. Okay, so for the wings, I want them to always look like they're flapping like really fast, okay? So what I'm going to do is, this will be the first drawing, and then we're just going to kind of barely see the wings because they're going to be going really fast. So let's insert a frame, and on this one, let's do the wings all the way down like this. And I'm going to hide the reference. Yeah, because I just want them to flap really fast, but I really want this nice arc in here. So let's try to get that a little more clear. And it might take a few more drawings. To get this feeling the way I want it to. Yeah, so it's just going to be 2 frames on the wings. Okay, so let's delete that second drawing. And unhide our reference. Okay, so now we're going to go through and do the stinger and the legs on a separate column and the arms on a separate column. Okay, now that all of our columns are created for all of our different body parts, we want to make sure that everything has a center where we want it. And now we need to make sure things are linked up, like the eyes are a child of the body and the mouth is a child of the body. So let's come over here to our schematic room. Okay, and if you see all of your columns with this B, A, and B, you can come down here to the bottom right, see if you can see it, and click this little button, switch output port display mode, and then you'll see these little red and blue dots. Okay. So basically what we want to do is when we move the body, we want everything to follow. So the eyes, I'm going to click this little dot and connect it to this dot right here. The eyes will follow the body. And the mouth will follow the body. Antennas will follow the body. Wings are going to follow the body. The stinger, just going to kind of try to organize this a little better. Stinger will follow the body. And the arms will follow the body. And the legs are going to follow the body. Okay, so let's come back over here to our main room. And let's hide the character reference and select the body column. And we just want to make sure it's working how we expect it to, okay? So when I animate the body, everything's going to follow, okay? And if I select the eyes and double click that layer and hit 2, this is the eyes closed. And now if we come back to the body, we can move the body and the eyes closed. Okay, great. Okay, now that everything's set up, we can start animating. So let's pull this over so we can see all of our columns. And I want to make sure the reference layer is locked. You could delete it, but I'm just going to leave it in. Okay, so let's start with the body, the main body. So let's select the animate tool and position. And let's just set a key down here. I'm just going to press that little key button. And let's pull the body way over here. Okay, he's just going to fly across the screen. Okay, so let's insert frames. And let's keep that key up here for the body. Okay, so I'm just going to insert frames all the way down to, let's go down to frame 88. Okay, and let's move our stop marker down there. So let's right click, set stop marker. And for the body, let's come down here to frame 88. And let's move him across the screen like this. And now let's just hit play and see what it feels like. Okay, he's just going across the screen. So now let's try to add some up and down, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that. First, we're going to set keys, and then we're going to manipulate the curves to help get a smooth animation, okay? So let's come down here to 16 and moving up. And then let's go down to 32 and moving down. And now let's go to frame 48 and moving up. And frame 64 and moving down. And then frame 80 and moving up. And then 88, we'll work that out in a second. He's off screen, but we're still going to manipulate the curves, okay? Let's hit play and see what it feels like. Okay, so he's going across. He's a little jerky. Okay, so we're going to smooth that out. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to come over here to the animation room. And if yours isn't set up like this, all you really need is a function editor. And you can go to Window and Function Editor. Okay, and that's what we're going to use to smooth out this animation on the body. Okay, so let's make sure the body column is selected, and we're going to open up this folder. Let me move my head up here. Okay, and so the y-axis is what moves the body up and down. So let's click that once, and you should see a curve right here. Okay, that's wheel mouse. I'm going to scroll the wheel mouse and zoom in. If you don't see this curve and you only see numbers, you might need to switch to Open Function Curve Editor. Okay, it's this button right here. We're just going to toggle it. So you can kind of see my curves are a little wonky. Okay, so what I'm going to do is right click a curve and go to speed in, speed out. And I'm going to change all of these to speed in and speed out. And that will give me these handles right here that I can manipulate. Okay. And we'll see what it looks like with just the default. Okay, so that looks pretty good. As we come out of this last frame, I'm just going to move this handle up so it follows that curve down. Okay, so now let's hit play. Okay, that's feeling better on the y-axis, but now let's see what's going on the x. Okay, so let's click Y over here to deselect it and click X to select it and kind of zoom out. And yeah, do you see how we have these little funky little hitches like right here and right here? Okay, so what I'm going to do is just select a key on the X axis and just hit delete. But I'm going to leave this slow out and slow in. I kind of like that. Okay, that feels way better. Okay, and if you want to manipulate this, you could right click and change it to speed in, speed out, and you could have him just zip in if you want. And then he slows into that pose real fast. I'm just going to change that back to default. Okay. So now let's go back to our main room where we have our animation. Let's let it save real quick. Okay, we're just going to add a blink in here. So let's go down to the eyes. We're going to go to the eyes column. Let's lock the body so we don't accidentally change anything. Okay, and remember we drew all these different eyes, so we can have the blink happen wherever we want. And I think it'd be funny right in here. I'm going to turn off onion skinning. So like at frame 41, I'm just going to double click and hit 2, which is our blink, our eyes with the eyes closed. Then I'm going to hit 2 again. Okay. Boop. If we want to hold that longer, we can double click here and do 2. And this would put this blink on a 3, which I kind of like. Just kind of a blink. Okay, and for the wings, remember we created 2 frames where they look like they're always flapping. So let's go to the wings, and let's lock the eyes. And right here, let's double click and hit 2. Okay, 1, 2, 1. But we want to repeat this pattern, 1, 2, 1, 2, through the whole animation. Okay. Click and highlight all 3 of these frames, 1, 2, 1, and click this little handle and just drag it down all the way down to the end of the animation. And this will loop this column 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it should look like the wings are flapping. Okay, and if you overextend, just delete all of these keys. Okay. So let's lock that and hit play. Cute. Okay, so now we can go in here and animate the other parts. Animate the stinger, animate the antennas, the arms. If you want to offset the arms, you could either create a mesh with bones, or you could create a different column for each arm. You could just create another drawing where the arms are offset, and you could switch between those 2 drawings, 2, 3, 4, however many you want. So anyway, this is a point where you can just have fun, be creative, and as always, happy animating, and I'll see you in the next one.